Welcome to the Panic Button, everyone. I'm Nina, and today we're going to be reacting to a video by Warren Smith called Students Show Professor What It's Really Like to Be a Conservative on Campus. Now, before I get into the video, I'd like to say that when I went to college at one point in my life, being gay was not really a thing. There weren't a lot of gays that were out in college. So even though the campus that I was at, campuses I was at were more, campuses are more liberal, still wasn't very accepting to be gay on campus. And now it seems to have switched to where conservatives are not really accepted on campus. See, I went to Belmont University in Nashville for a semester till I couldn't afford it anymore. And it is a Christian college. And I had friends when I was there. Once they found out I was a lesbian, they stopped talking to me. I would go to bring my laundry to the laundromat place that they had on the apartment side of the campus. And I would see people holding hands and praying. It was very, very odd for me because I'd never really been around that. So it was definitely a more conservative campus. So now that campuses are against conservatives, I'm kind of curious to see what it's like for them and if it relates to what I went through.
Professor, what it's actually like to be conservative on their campus.
Help us understand what it's like.
I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because it's usually drags for me. 1.25. Okay, let's go.
To be conservative on the Penn State College campus.
I definitely was a little scared to kind of like out myself.
There's definitely hesitancy.
Are most of your friends not conservative?
Yes.
I resonate with this student because this reminds me.
Whoa, she said outs herself. That's weird because when I was going to college, I didn't even out myself. I was actually outed. I was outed in high school. I was outed in college. I didn't get to out myself at all. But now the outing isn't like outing yourself as gay. Now it's outing yourself as conservative. How times have changed.
Me.
Just like with my friends at school here, I don't think any of them really know like where I reside politically.
I wouldn't even call myself conservative. I don't know what I am. I don't think it really matters.
Like my friends at home are predominantly white and predominantly left-leaning, and they know my conservative values, and it doesn't really go well with them.
That's probably the case in my experience.
Do you feel, are your friends knowledgeable about being liberals, or are they just liberals because it's mostly the cool thing to do?
I think they're knowledgeable, but I also do think it is kind of like the cool thing to do.
They're certainly set in their ways in my experience. And there's kind of this shock that anyone would disagree.
Yeah, it's so crazy because conservatives used to be the ones that you saw like, oh, they're set in their ways, like old school. But now it's like the liberals are like that, very set in their ways, not open-minded, not willing to change or hear other perspectives. That used to be the conservatives, but now it's the liberals. It's so crazy. It's like the liberals took things from the conservative side and used it. And that's them now. They say they're open-minded. They say that they'll hear other sides and have conversations, but they're not. They're not like that at all. They're more like how they see conservatives. They're more like how they see conservatives. Crazy.
To talk about my opinion, it's automatically invalid because I'm conservative.
And they don't really want to talk about it. I think it's similar to what the student is describing.
That's not up for a discussion. Up for them. They know it's right. They know it's wrong.
Yeah. How well do you think they understand conservative values?
Not well.
Okay, got you.
Having spoken to Sam Richards personally, he's the only professor who is doing this.
I think it's just like an internal fear I have. That like maybe I don't like share as much as I should. Maybe I don't like talk about like my beliefs as much as I do just because of like...
The internal fear is what you said earlier about your friends and so on.
He does genuinely want to get to the bottom of it. He's genuinely interested. He's trying to be objective.
I can understand why they wouldn't want to talk to liberals about what they believe in and their opinions and stuff, because they're going to be shunned. They're going to be hated. They're going to be made fun of. Just a whole bunch of things that you would expect liberals not to do. They do. And it's the same thing as what conservatives used to do. They shun you, hate you, make you stop talking. Let's put it plainly. Assholes.
judge you and they don't even know why they're judging you,
Yes.
right? Like, especially on politics, most people like, first off, the vast majority of people on a college campus, they really don't even know what they believe.
It usually is just these talking points that they hear on NPR, the news, that they know they're supposed to be concerned about.
What do you know about Donald Trump's policies? You know what I mean? Like, really, if I give you the microphone and say, hey, come sit up on the table and tell us what is happening in the Donald Trump world, how many people could actually, these like hardcore liberals could actually say something more than 20 or 30 seconds?
But it's very predictable. That's why I like looking at interactions like this, because it actually goes beyond that.
Like my high school experience of like coming out as conservative, a lot of it gets judged as like I'm whitewashed or I'm around too many white people or something like that. I think that's what my fear is mainly, is just kind of being labeled as something that I'm not.
And you do see this, and it's incredibly hypocritical because it is racist if you actually listen to what the student is saying.
Yeah. Honestly, my college experience has been nothing compared to the way my high school experience was. I'd say most of my teachers were very liberal.
Do you listen for it though, to say like, oh wait, hang on, is this professor trying to kind of move me in this way or that way or something?
It's going to vary depending.
You know, you would think, like for someone like me, who was on a Christian college campus, who was shunned for being gay, or even in my high school, being shunned and made fun of for being gay by these people who I would have labeled conservative. You would think that I would be like, yes, now you're getting what you deserve, because I went through this, now you're going through it, ha ha. You would think that I would think that, right? But I don't. I think that, first of all, these people personally never did anything to me, so I'm not going to get on their ass about that. But you treat people the way you want to be treated. I was treated bad by people I saw as conservatives. So why would I be happy that now these people are being treated the way that I was treated? Why would I be happy about that? I'm just not. I don't see anything moving forward by keeping the same crap going on and on, just pushed on to different sides, like liberals, or gays, or conservatives. I don't see that as constructive. I see it as like you're still in the hamster wheel. It's just a different person's in a different side is in the hamster wheel. You're just doing the same crap over and over again. It's like, well, you treat me like crap. Oh, well, now it's my turn. Now I treat you like crap. It's like, after a while, doesn't that get exhausting? Don't you see that nothing good is going to come from that? It's just going to be the same crap over and over again, like monotonous garbage. I don't want people who aren't doing anything wrong. They're just having their own beliefs. I don't want people to be treated the way that I was treated. Like these young kids today who are conservative, they're going through what I went through, and I can understand where they're coming from because I went through it, even though I had a different belief system. So to me, I don't see this as revenge or like getting a taste of your own medicine. I see this as rotten. I see this is getting us nowhere. And the side that I'm supposed to be on is now the bullies. Like, aren't you supposed to be better than that? But you're not. You're not better than that. You're just acting like the bullies treated you. So now you're just as bad as the bullies. I guess, I don't know, being a jerk is freaking contagious these days.
On the courses you're taking, what is your major? It's not as bad as some people make it out to be on their campus in the classroom. But what about outside of the classroom? That's where things get really complicated.
There's not much happening on campus outside the classroom for people to learn about conservative ideas. So what you're saying in the classroom, I will say, well, historically, for me anyway, I have never seen a lot of activity on this campus that was directed toward teaching people about conservative ideas and values.
I can only speak to my experiences. What I've seen, and at Emerson, I never saw a single conservative organization or event.
7 out of 10 events were very liberal, man. It was like, come hear a speaker talk about the evils of ICE or something. I don't know. You know, we didn't have ICE back then in the same way, but you get it, right? It would be that. Like, oh my God, or, you know, poverty and discrimination in schools, you know, it's like the speaker coming in for that, or what is all, it's 7 out of 10.
He does a great job breaking this down because that is exactly what it feels like. But in my experience, it was even more extreme. I did not see a single example. Now and then they would have a conservative guest speaker. They were all kind of, I used to be conservative, but I don't like Trump. Or I am conservative, quote unquote, but I don't like the conservative party today.
2 out of 10 were just kind of nothing, you know, just like whatever, you know, maybe one out of 10 was a little bit conservative, maybe even less than that.
There was no one who was not anti-Trump, we can put it that way.
Students who are kind of like the student group connected to Turning Point, they have a real hard time. Like they have a tough time scheduling rooms. They have a tough time. Something also often gets in the way and disrupts the event.
The problem is the college can always claim it was just bureaucracy. They didn't have the right paperwork, this permit. Oh, the dates got shuffled. They can make up so many excuses.
I remember last year, it was actually Charlie Kirk with Turning Point USA. He came here for a big event. And I remember I showed up and basically there was no event, and it was because of protests on campus.
If I remember correctly, they pulled the plug because they said they hadn't filled out their correct form. They hadn't done something and they needed to do.
Right. And I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but I find that hard to believe considering that the event had already been planned for months.
It seems a little bit suspect.
It seems a little hard to believe, especially when there were open protests on the same hub lawn, just on the other side.
Dude,
calling Charlie Kirk a Nazi, then I find that pretty hard to believe.
Those on the right don't seem to try and shut down guest speakers who are reflecting liberal values. I've never seen it.
I think for conservative events, there's definitely more protesters than there would be at a liberal event.
Yeah, like conservatives never show up to protest liberal events. Well, you wouldn't be able to. If you go back to what I was saying earlier.
Not anymore. But I could see that happening more back in the day where like colleges have always been pretty liberal, but I feel like college students now are more ballsy because they can get away with doing certain things that before they probably weren't able to get away with, so much so. And also there's a lot more radical liberal activists on college campuses than there used to be back in the day. Like back in the day, I've been to a couple colleges, and I didn't really see any protests. I saw one. I saw one very teeny tiny protest, and we had these Buddhist monks come to our community college to do the sand. What was it? They would make like a kind of like a mural thing. It was a circle, and they do it with these like little things, and they do all different colors of sand. And I remember a group of Christians who would, while they were doing the sand thing, they would be playing guitar and singing Christian music while they were doing it as a form of protest. It was pretty rude, but it's nowhere near as ridiculous as the protests from the liberals are today. So I think it has a lot to do with indoctrination from the colleges and the teachers. Teachers now are more willing to push liberal students to be more outspoken and to protest. Back in the day, I don't think they were like that as much. Just from personal experience. I'm sure in different parts of the country it's probably different, but for me, that's what I saw.
The conservative student groups who wanted to show up to protest the liberal events, you'd be doing something every night, man, because there was always some liberal thing going on, man.
So a student in the audience speaks up, and he says, yes, it's not as bad as some people make it out to be, but I have certainly experienced this.
So I could see if conservatives are like scared. I definitely have had professors that were more liberal, and they use like what's considered like woke language.
He's clearly pretty nervous. He's speaking in front of a lot of people, but I get what he's saying.
Definitely like thought twice, using the language that the professor may use, just so I can get like brownie points on like an essay.
So Sam, on average, you have 25 professors in a year. How many of those 25 do you think would be what you're describing?
How many do you think you would identify in that way?
So there are a lot of students on college campuses that literally, like when you're in college, you're supposed to be able to speak freely, and that's where you hone your ideas and figure out who you are and what you think. But it seems with a lot of these teachers, you have to bite your tongue and say what they want you to say in order to get good grades, or else, you might fail. And so they're pretty much manipulating you into saying what they want you to say instead of saying what you feel is true. Because if you do, and the teacher doesn't like it, they'll fail you. And I think that's absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. That's no way to have higher education. That's no way to teach students how to go out into the world and be who they are and to be productive members of society. It's actually molding them into being what other people want them to be. And that's no way to have critical thinking or new ideas. new art, even. You're pretty much keeping people in boxes instead of allowing them to flourish, allowing their insides to eventually flourish and allow them to become who they're destined to become. You're confining them to a box and saying, no, no, no. Now go out into the world and be like that for your bosses too. It's gross.
Of the 20, let's say 25.
At least half.
Really? Half?
I can only speak for what I have seen in classes that incorporate those kind of topics. It would be higher than half.
English, I've taken a lot of literature classes.
Yeah.
Like they are all very openly liberal.
Another student speaks up from the audience. She's articulating the same concept.
I am Republican, and I just want to answer your question because you were kind of asking if you ever felt like it put you in a little bit of a box. And I noticed that I was writing my papers a little bit more Republican originally, and I don't know if it was biased or anything, but kind of like the grades shifted when I kind of made them a little less Republican and maybe a little bit more liberal.
It's using this coded language to signal agreement, and that does affect your grade. And many of the students listening, you can tell, want to push back. This conservative student makes this point about not having race identity on your application, that box that you check.
But I also believe that race-based hiring shouldn't exist, and putting your race on a job application shouldn't exist. No one should be judged based on their skin color. Everyone should be graded fairly based on their merits.
A student raises her hand to try and counter this.
I just wanted to circle back to the comment made about DEI and how like the checkboxes for race should be taken off completely.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry, I don't see them. Dennis said that first and then she agreed. Since we have a woman of color up there, I just want to know, how would that be beneficial and like what?
How would that be beneficial? If she's good at what she does, she doesn't need that race box to be checked. How would that be beneficial? She's pretty much saying without saying. So you're like less than them. So if you don't check the race box, like how will that help you get your job? Because obviously you're not as good as the white men you're sitting next to. Like, oh, fucking gross racist. Oh, they don't even understand. They don't even see how gross, oh, their thinking is. Oh, you're so gross. You're so gross. You're so gross. I can't with these people. Oh my God, that's so insulting. Oh my God. Oh, so insulting. Continue.
Help anything by taking away people identify their.
Yo, let's do a class on this.
Coincidentally, this is the same student from the last video I did. Apparently there were a lot of comments directed at them and there was some concern, but I'm glad to see that she's still willing to engage.
Okay, let's do a class on this. We'll do a whole class. Okay, that's a really cool question. We're just going to come back and do a class on it. Damn, all the conservatives are tuning in. All right, is it more difficult to date on a college campus as a conservative?
Personally, I find conservative women more attractive.
All right.
This is a fact. I'm a lesbian, and this is a fact. Because lesbians are conservative. And I'll tell you one thing. The ugliest ones, they are not in the middle or on the right. They're on the left. Well, if you're looking, it would be this way. They're on the left.
I find like conservative men more attractive. I also think it is a little bit more difficult to date because of like my conservative values, like traditional values, like believing in like a nuclear family. Like
That's crazy that believing in a nuclear family is a conservative value. And the fact that that is an obstacle to dating says a lot.
definitely difficult to find someone who shares the same beliefs as me.
Yeah, because we're part of, this is like it's a drinking culture, it's a hookup culture, it's all sorts of things. It's like,
I just wanted to know what you guys think about why there's so much a divide between the left and the right, even in Trump's.
It's really, really easy. We have the left and we have the right. If you're looking at me, it's going to be the opposite, but I'm going to do it the way that it is for me. You have the left and you have the right. And the right, and then you have people in the middle. And the left went crazy. So they went farther to the left. And the right went, maybe we shouldn't be as judgmental to people who are more in the middle, gays, people of different racial backgrounds. Let's go a little bit more towards the middle. And so people who are in the middle got closer to the right and farther away from the left. And the farther away the left got, the more they started bleeding people from the left because they're going, whoa, 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 you're going too far. No, too far. Stop it. Stop. You're too far. And people on the right were like, you guys can hear us because we moved a little bit more towards the middle. So we can't hear anything that they're chanting and screaming about. And we don't even want to at this point. We're sitting in the middle, and then the people on the right who were expecting like to hate us, because we're gay or have different opinions, then they're like, you know what? You don't want to do certain things like castrate children and all that stuff. So, let's at least have a conversation. We can agree to disagree even if we do disagree, but I'll at least treat you with respect. And so more people who are in the middle were like, okay. So, and that's how it happens.
Last presidency, we didn't see this much of a divide where there was so much violence and hatred, I guess I would say.
That is the question. And I think it comes down to intolerance of disagreement, viewing the other as evil, the certainty that you're right. It's the same dynamic that causes people to shut down speakers when they come to campus.
We're just like everybody else. Have an open mind if you're going to bring up politics, and I disagree with you. And don't be stuck in your ways to think that you're 100% right, because no one's 100% right.
Well, that was a great video from Warren Smith. Thank you for that, sir. Anyone, if you have any opinions or if you have anything you want to say, leave it in the comments below. Like and subscribe to this video. Hit the bell. And if you want to support this channel, please join our memberships below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.